So, first warm-up question. So, what percent of the grid of 100 squares is shaded? Well, we already know that the whole thing is 100 squares. So that means all we have to do is just count exactly how many those are. Well, those are one, two, three, four. So four columns or four rows or four groups of five. So how many is that? All of those, all of those are 20 squares. All of those are 20 squares. So I'm just going to write 20. So that's what 20 out of 100. So 20 out of a full 100. Please write full. Full equals 100 squares SQ, which means it's 20 out of 100. So 20 out of 100, which really will tell you 20, will give you 20%. Remember, anything out of 100 is immediately that number in percent, as long as it's exactly out of 100. Okay? All right. If the grid in number one, this one right here, if the grid number one, sorry, if the grid in number one represents $200, what amount does the shaded part represent? So the question saying is what? If those 100 squares represent $200, what amount does the shaded part represent? Well, good news. We already know that the shaded part is how much percent? 20. So all you have to, basically the question is saying this. How much is 20%, but out of 200? How much is 20% out of 200? So we need to multiply 20% by 200. So first, everyone, so multiply. So multiply. Go ahead, multiply 20% by by $200. How do you multiply any percent? You can't use it as a percent. You have to use it as a decimal. Well, guess what? 20% is 0.20 as a percent. Look, you can always just get the calculator up and just say 20 divided by 100, zero point 0.2. But please make it 0.20 because then you know it's legit 20%. So 0.20 times 200, that's equal to how much? Well, let's see. 0.20 times 200, that would be $40. $40. So 20%, 20% of 200, 20% of 200 is 40 bucks. 20% of $200 is $40. Okay? Remember, it's very important to understand the meaning of when someone says, what is such percent of something? So, for example, what is 30% of 70 cars outside? Then you say, oh, easy. I'll take the 30%, I'll make it a decimal, so it's easy, it's 0.30, and then you multiply it by the 70 cars outside. Always like that. Okay, next one. Divide, include the units in each rate. So this one tells you what, everyone? What does this say? This says, right here, sorry. This one here says you earned $450. You earned $450 in 20 hours of work. You earned $450 in 20 hours of work. So the question now is, how much did you actually earn for every single hour? So all you have to do is divide how much you totally earned, which is 450, by how long you've totally worked, which is 20 hours. Okay, so let's do it 450 divided by 20, whatever we see. Ready? 22 and a half. 22 and a half. So that means you are getting paid at a rate of $22. Everyone, you have to write the dollar sign first. $22 per what? Per hour, exactly. So obviously we don't say per, we do the slash, and we just write HR. I don't really care if you write HR in capital or whatever, but most people write them in a lowercase. Yeah, yeah. Actually, you're right. Some people write kilometers per age, which is per hour. Yeah, I'm fine with that. 100%. No, no, no. And you know what? I'm just so used to the HR. Same thing. How about if you earn $300, but for some job that took 5 days to do? Same exact thing. What's 300 divided by 5? Well, I know this one because 30 divided by 5 is 6. So that means 300 divided by 5 is 60. So that means you were earning $60 per day this time. $60 slash, uh, let's not say D, let's actually say day. So that means every day you were earning $60. By the way, just so listen up, just so you know, the fact that you're the fact that we're dividing 300 by 5, listen up, that by the way, that doesn't mean that you actually earned $6 a day for sure. I mean, all we know is after 300, sorry, after 5 days, how much money did you make? After 5 days, you made how much? 300. We don't know if you actually made 60 a day. You could have made 100 in one day, and then for the rest of the other 4 days, somehow you had to make the other what the remaining $200. So it doesn't tell you for sure that you got 60, 60, 60, 60, 60. But obviously, that's usually a good guess. We're assuming that you did the exact same job every day, so you got paid the exact same amount every day. But there's never a guarantee unless you know more about the situation. Just letting you know. Okay, next one. Daniel works how much? How long? 6.5 hours. See, like Sarah, they're actually using the H, not the HR. So apparently, this is the way this book is doing it. Both are good. So 6.5 hours. He is paid. He is paid for every hour of work, $7.50. How much total money will he earn? You just have to multiply how long he worked by how much per hour he gets paid. So all we have to do now is multiply. Doesn't really matter which one you multiply first as a number. I'm usually a fan of multiplying the time first and then by the amount of money per hour. So multiply 6. Obviously, I'm not gonna write and a half. I'm gonna write point 0.5. So everyone, I want you to, I want you to write multiply because sometimes you multiply, sometimes you divide. You have to know which is which. So 6.5 times 7.5. I don't really care if you write per hour or not. You just need to know that whatever money you're getting at the end is not per hour. It's actually per the whole thing. So equals 6.5 times 7.0. He made $48.75 for that day of work. He got at the end of it 48 and 75. Nice. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean. Okay, what's the average of 16, 13, 17, and 24? Now, what real situation could this actually reflect? I don't know. Maybe you're playing some kind of a board game, and sure, and apparently out of a score of 30, maybe I know your first score for the first round was 16, second score was 13, third score was 17, last score was 24. So on average, how much were you scoring each round? Well, obviously you can tell that your average is going to be somewhere in between those numbers. But it's interesting. Your performance is all over the place. You had 16, you went down to 13, you slightly went up to 17, and then you really skyrocketed to 24. But regardless, how do you get the average of four number? What do you do with the four numbers first? Do you remember how we got the average for 2 weeks of work? I think on Thursday. What do you do with all averages? Come on, everyone. You need to know this one. I mean, you're a student. You're all say it. The first thing is you add everything you got. And then do you divide by 2, 3, or 4? You divide by how many things you see. You see four numbers, 16, 13, 17, 24. You just divide by how many rounds you played. Or maybe those are your scores on 4 tests. And you're interested, what's my average score per test? So you add, then divide. So everyone, I want you to write add, then divide. Okay. So we can do, yeah, by the way, you can do it in one shot, everyone. You can just make a long fraction. On the top, you can just say 16 plus 13 plus 17 plus 24. And at the bottom, in the center, just put 4, because it's 4 things. All right? Let's see what's your, the 4 is here. Let's see what kind of total you got. 16 plus 13 plus 17 plus 24. So apparently, if you're working, for example, a job and you got $16 the first day, 13 the second day, 17 the third day, and 24 the fourth and last day, you would have made $70 in 4 days, which means, 70 divided by 4, 17 and a half. 17 and a half. This is your average. Again, because we don't know, everyone, we don't know what these numbers really represent. You could think of 100 situations that could be it. You could, again, think of it as the tests. You wrote 4 tests. Those are your scores. What kind of an average should appear on your report for those 4 tests only? 17 and a half. Out of how much? I don't know. We have no idea what those scores are out of. They could be out of 25. They could be out of 30. They could be out of 100. Whatever it is. Okay? But that's important. Just know how to get the average always like this. Okay? Now we go to this one. Estimate. Okay, I want you to cross out the word estimate, and I want you to write calculate or find or determine. There's no need to estimate. We always have calculators here. So go ahead and write calculate. Calculate. All right. 15% of 60. What does that mean? Multiply 15% times 60. So obviously we're not going to multiply 15%. We're going to multiply how much? 0.15. Nice. So I want you to write here 15% is the same as 0.15. And we proceed with the multiplication. 0.15 times, it's a dollar amount, so I'm going to write dollars, equals, what's 15 times 60? That would be exactly $9, actually. Yes, because 15% of 60, 0.15 times 6, no, not 90, 60. Times 60, yep, $9. So $9. Since it's 9, there's no need to write what? 900. It's just 9. Some other teachers always insist on seeing the decimals or the cents, not me. Okay, how about 1/3 of 890? Okay, we need to get the 1/3 as a what? As a decimal. Well, now I can just divide it and see. So 1/3 equals, let's see. By the way, does anyone know what's 1/3 as a decimal? It's an infinite number of threes after the decimal point. See, everyone look. 1 divided by 3. Yep. So obviously, the more threes you take, the more your final answer is gonna be more accurate or correct. Well, I mean, after a while, after a certain number of threes, it becomes useless. I mean, what's the point? So let's take 2 threes. Okay, you can take 3 threes or 4. Let's take just 2. So I'm gonna say just 0.33. Everyone, I'm gonna write dots like this. Go ahead. Look, everyone, write 3 dots after the second 3, but don't write them low, like the same level of the decimal point. Write them in the middle to basically tell yourself it's threes forever. So we're just gonna take those 0.33s. Sorry, those 2.3s. So 0.33 times uh, $890. That's exactly like someone asking me, give me 33% of $890. Okay, where is it? There we go. 0.33. We agreed we're only gonna take 2 times 890. How much is that? Apparently $293.70, not 70, because there's always an invisible zero that calculators don't show, dollars. So 293.70. There we go. Oops. So always remember, everyone, when someone tells you calculate a percentage of a number, this is what you always do. I don't care what math you ever do in your life. Just multiply the percentage, or the decimal, I should say, by the number or the thing itself. Okay? Okay. Okay, let's everyone, let's just quickly look at this like a skills summary box. Convert each percent to a decimal. Well, as Sarah is saying, you might have a calculator, sorry, like a button, or you can just what? Divide those numbers by 100. So I want you to write divide. Everyone go ahead. Divide by 100. That's it. So let's see what the results we get for each one. 5 divided by 100. 0.05. That's the decimal version of 5%. How about 2.5%? 2.5 divided by 100. 0.025. 0.025. 44%. If you do it, you're going to get 0.44. And 16%, you're going to get 0.16. I'll move this 100 sideways. Yes. There we go. Divide by 100. There we go. And then a question could be, what is 4.5% of 60? You have to use the decimal version and then multiply to get 2.7. That's it. So what's 20% of $160? First of all, this 20% becomes 0.20 and then times $160. That's, yep, exactly $32. So equals $32. How about this one? Well, this one is 0.025 times one, sorry, $12.80, sorry, yeah, 84 cents. Well, how much is that in money? Let's see. Point zero point. Yep, 0.321. So apparently, out like you, so you can actually stop after two. So really 0.32. So 0.32 of a dollar, or really how much? 32 what? No, 32 cents. Again, remember, technically, whenever you get a decimal less than one in dollars, you are more than welcome to always what say it in pure cents. Okay, if the question wants, you can definitely leave it like dollars. I think it gives you a better sense if you actually do it in pennies or cents. Same thing here. 9% would be 0.09 times. So what if someone wants 90% of $2,500? Well, that might actually be a sizable amount. How much? Yep, because it's about 10%, so it's about 1/10. So 245. Sorry, what was it, Max? Oh, 25. Any any cents or just that? Perfect. So no cents, no remainders, nothing. Great. That's it. Always remember this, everyone. Whenever you want a percentage of a number, that any number, usually the number is money, but it could be absolutely anything. It could be the number of cars in a parking lot. Just multiply the decimal by the thing itself. It never, ever changes. Okay? All right. So now let's actually see the next page where we talk about some people getting paid and how much they keep after paying taxes and stuff. Come on. Well, again, the more you make, the more you're definitely going to contribute, to the tax pool. Okay. So let's look at the first one. Calculating earnings, or how much money you make. Okay, Franco's annual. Again, what does annual mean? Lorcan used it before. Yearly. Everyone, I want you to write next to this yearly or per year, whatever you want to say, per year. So Franca's makes she makes 79,600. Almost 80,000. Almost 80,000. Go ahead and put a comma here just to make just to fill the space. $79,600 per year. That again, that's what they call what? That's what they call gross income. Gross income, which means what? Before taxes. Okay? She's definitely gonna pay taxes on that for sure. It says right there about 25%, 25%, one fourth, 25% of her salary is deducted or taken away or removed for taxes. Okay? So deducted means, I want you to write deducted means taken away, or subtracted, if you will. But taken away is good enough for taxes. It's interesting. It's not just tax; it's taxes. Multiple taxes. It could be income. Could be, for example, like pension, and so on and so forth. So estimate again. We don't estimate. We what? We don't estimate. We what? Calculate, because we have calculator. Calculate, calculate the amount of tax deducted from Frankers per each year. Well, yeah, see, everyone, I want you to cross that. It says toss by what? Saying you to what? Rounding, because they wanted you to estimate. Obviously, 79,600 is very close to what? 79,600 is very close to what? 80,000. That's why they wanted you to round to 80,000 and then estimate. Nope. We're gonna do none of that. We're not gonna round. We're gonna get it exactly right. So go ahead, cross this one out. Okay. If you pay 25%, or the question is, how much is 25% of? How much is 25% of 79,600? We have to multiply the percentage by this one, but I have to change the percentage into a decimal. Well, that's easy. 0.25 times 79, comma 600. Okay, let's see how much goes to tax. Well, almost close to 19,000. Sorry, I mean 20,000. Almost. Not exactly, but very close. 0.25 times 7, 9, 600. Ready? 19,900. How come they make it to 20? Because she did not make it to 80,000 as a wife. If she made 80,000 exactly, that number would be 20,000 exactly. But because she made slightly less than $80,000 per year, her taxes are slightly less than 20,000 per year. Not much. It's only $100. So 19,900. Okay? So right there, that gets taken away or deducted. Okay. However, she received a 3% increase in pay. Increase in pay. Calculate how much that increase is. And then add that to the salary to get the what? To get the what? Everyone? To the new annual salary. Okay. Question here. Do you think that 3%, everyone listen up. Do you think that 3% is increase? Is that 3% of her salary before taking the taxes from it or after? Always before, everyone. Always before. By the way, think about it. It it has to be before, because then what? It will be it so the taxes then will slightly be what? Be more as well. So everyone, always, if you ever get an increase, I'm good thinking. If you ever get maybe at the end. If you get an increase, it's always to the what? To the gross income or before the taxes. So the question is simple. How much is 3% of 79,600? Same thing. You need to multiply 0.03. Everyone, point to the 3%. Point to it and write 0.03 because it's always going to be the decimal. Okay, so the first step is let's see how much 3% is of the old, of the what? Of the original pre-tax, pre-deduction salary. Okay, so raise amount, the raise amount equals 0.03 times 7,9,600. Okay, let's see how much that is. 0.03. Oh, you can see 0.03 times 79,600. Ready? By the way, are we expecting like a huge amount? Not really. 3% out of 80, maybe 240 something. I know. Let's see how off I am. Okay, sorry, 2,000. So about $2,400. Not too bad. Okay, so it's 2,388. So that's how much extra money she got as a raise because of a promotion or a bonus or whatever. So that's the raise. But the question is asking for what? For the what? New salary, which means now she makes this much plus that much. So new, everyone, new annual, you can say income or salary. They use salary. Let's use salary. Salary equals the old amount, which is 79,600, plus the extra bump, sorry, the extra 2,388. Well, let's see how much that is. So I'm going to add that. Everyone, I'm going to add that to the old amount. So just a plus 7,9,600. Well, guess what? Now she made it to what? Now she made it to over 80,000, which again, remember what we said about, I think we mentioned like last week or the week before, the tax brackets. Yeah, it's good to make more money, but that also means what? You might now jump into a higher what tax income bracket, which means not okay. You make more money, but guess what? You're actually paying more tax. So 81,988 now. So now she is officially in the paperwork making 81, comma 988. Okay, she crossed the 80,000. That's totally fine. Okay, now the question is calculate the amount deducted for the taxes from the new pay. Okay, so now she's paying. By the way, how much taxes was she paying before? How much taxes was she paying before? Come on, 25%. Well, guess what? Apparently, she's still paying how much? 25%. By the way, sometimes the question could be what? Now, because she's higher than 80,000, she is paying 30% tax. So calculate the new taxes. Well, apparently that's not the situation here. She is still within the range of the government saying you still pay 25%. Okay? So tax amount or new tax amount, new, 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 new tax amount equals also 0.25, but now times a higher salary, 81,988. Question: how much tax was she paying before? Before. How much tax was she paying on the 79,600? In percentage, I'm saying actual money. Huh? How much was 25% of the old amount? 19,900. What do you expect it to be now? Same or higher? Of course, you are 25% of a higher number. Your tax should also be higher. All right. She's definitely crossing the 20,000 mark for sure now. 25 times. Say again. 81. Yep. 20. She used to be shy of 20,000. Now she actually went over the 20,000 by how much? By $497. So 20,000, comma 497. Okay. Yep. Okay. All right. So that's a very typical situation. Again, remember, you can give to charity and get basically, reimbursed. You can actually, when you actually file your taxes, you can actually give receipts and get also what reimbursed for them. For example, um, you can give your gas money. I actually I should. I mean, most teachers here when they buy stuff, they actually keep the receipts and they basically say, well, I did this, I bought this from my classroom, I am spending from my own money to actually, make sure that my classroom is running smoothly and so on. And then you get a certain percentage back, like a rebate or so. Okay. So it's not always exactly paying that and you never see it again. You can actually get a certain amount back. Yes. Sure. Okay. All right. Okay. Here's another situation. Craig, he's a telemarketer. Very tough job. He sold $960 worth of merchandise, whatever the telemarketing company sells. or whatever services they provide. If Kirk's commission, does anyone know what commission means? What does commission mean? It's important to understand what commission means. Anyone? Come on, phones away. What does commission mean? By the way, many jobs work on purely commission. By the way, some jobs, listen up, some jobs purely work on commission, some jobs purely work on salary, and some jobs work on what? No, both. You get a salary, but also you get what? Commission. But what's the meaning of the word commission? Say again? Exactly. If you sell more for the company, you basically make a cut of what they sell, right? So apparently, how much is his commission, Craig? How much? So whatever he brings in, 10% is his, 90% is the company. Okay? By the way, much of retail, I know that because I have so many friends who worked retail like a Masonville. Oftentimes, especially especially at the beginning when they hire you, they actually don't pay you a salary. They only pay you what? Commission, which means what? It's cutthroat. You really need to be out there and uh, I know what's it? Lululemon, for example. You're working the floor. You're actually on the floor. Someone walks in, and you gotta sell because the more you sell, the more you make. Purely, they are not paying you a salary. You get promoted, then you're like, okay, you know what? You're a staple of the store. We're paying you a salary now, but still, most of the money you have to make is pure commission. Obviously, some people just say, I'm just gonna look a job where I just get paid a salary. Now that might be okay because that's what guaranteed, right? But it might be it might not be much. Or you might say, you know what? If I risk it and go for commission, I know I'm not getting a salary, but I think I could actually bring so much merchandise or so much sales in. Again, everyone's different. So his commission is 10%. What will he get paid if he brought in 960? So that means the question is simply, what is 10% of $960? Well, again, the 10% is how much? Is 0.110, sorry, 10. So we can say just, you know what? No need for words, just point 10 times. Make sure it's a dollar sign first. 960. Well, that's easy because it's 10% of 960. That's just how much? 96. So just $96. So he claims $96 of the 960 they sold, which means they got paid the rest of 800 something. Okay? All right. Jerry works at an electronics store. He earns same thing, 4% of the value of his sales. That's just another way to say what? His commission. I want you to write commission. Sorry, that's supposed to be two M's. Commission equals 4%. 4, 4%. 4%. Okay. Welcome to my life. I never. What they call? What they call? You don't have awareness of your surroundings. Um, that's why I'm mostly like math and physics. Imagine me running a chemistry experiment. Everything is spilled over. Ah, no, no. She knows exactly where she is. So during 1 week, Jerry sells $5,000 worth of merchandise in an electronics store. How much commission does he get? Well, 4% out of 5,000. So same thing. What's 4%? 4% is 0.4. Yep. So 0.4, sorry, 0.04 times the whole 5,000 he brought in sales. That would be, if I multiply 20,000, $200. I'm pretty sure it's 200. Let me check. 0.04. Yep. Times 5,000. 5% of, sorry, 4% of $5,000 is an exact money amount of $200. So that's how much he is guaranteed as his commission. Yep. How do you find the average of two numbers? Hey, we did that before, remember? that was the I think last week. Selena made $160 one week, $180 the other week. We added and we divide by 2. So go ahead. Add, then divide, but because you know how many numbers, you can say then divide by 2. By exactly 2. And the rule applies even if you had an average of 16 numbers. 100. Just add and divide by the number of those numbers. Okay, for part B, a week later, Jerry even has actually a better week. He sold 6,500 worth of merchandise. By the way, many stores actually tell you if you sell this much, like up to this much, you get 10%. If you cross that, you get 12%. Again, incentives, incentives, incentives. So 6,500. How much commission will he earn? What's 4% of 65? 0.04 times 6,500. That definitely is more than 200 because you sold more, you get more, or you get more to yourself, you keep more. That would be $260. So, it is what it is, okay? Imagine he went from 5,000 in sales to 6,500 in sales. He made for the store $1,500 more for the store. How much more did he make for himself? 60 bucks. I'm pretty sure it is. 0.04 times 6,500. Yep. He brought in $1,500 in sales, but all he was able to jump up in his own commission was $60. Yeah, well, it is what it is, and it is just 4%. Okay, 4%. Okay, what is Jerry's average commission for those 2 weeks? Well, one week he scored 200, one week he scored 260. Add up and divide by 2. So 200 plus 260. Yep, over 2. Well, that's 460. Well, in money, but we can put the money sign at the end. Over 2. Yep, 200. So he can assume that on average, I want you to write the word on average here. He never made 230. He made 200 and 260. But on average, he could believe, or he could always do his calculations for the future, that he's going to rack in about 230, 240 bucks per commission for commission every week, on average per week. Okay, here's another question. Use Jerry's average weekly commission, those 230 bucks, to estimate his commission in what? In what? In what? 1 year. Well, did they say he's taking vacation time? He didn't. They didn't. Sorry, they didn't. Which means we are going to assume that he works for a whole year. And since we're doing things in weeks, how many weeks in a year? What's the magic number? 52. So we're going to assume that somehow he's going to work 52 weeks a year, and every week on average he's making how much on average? Everyone, how much? Yeah, we can't say on average he's making 200 because some weeks he made more. We also can't say that on average he's making 260 because some weeks he made less. So always a safe bet is somewhere in between, because you always judge by the lowest, you're always going to get a low estimate. If you judge by the highest, you're going to get a high estimate. If you judge by the middle, you get the most logical idea. So I want you to say 1 year equals 52 weeks. No vacation. All right. So all we have to say is um, his yearly his yearly estimate equals, I don't really care if you multiply 52 times 230 or 230 times 52. But again, now you know I'm a fan of multiplying the time first by the money. So I always start by time, which in this case would be 52 weeks. So 52 times 230 average per week. Okay, let's see how much that is. So almost $12,000, which makes sense. It is a part-time job. $12,000 just coming from what? A 10% commission or whatever he brings in, average over $230 a week. So 11, is it 960? Yes, so almost 12,000. Identical?
It is. Yeah, it is.
Oh, wait a
It
minute.
is the same.
So you're saying I gave you 4 pages, two of which are the same?
Well, no, because the back side is.
No, no, but at least one side. Oh, so I could give you just 3 pages. All right, cross out the whole third page. Huh.
Perfecto. Perfection. Look at this.
Look, in red.
So great.
Okay.
Ever. Voila. You have number?
Yes, it's not my first time sometimes printing a page I didn't need. Just wondering what was on my mind then. Okay, come on. So let's finish this one, 5 10 minutes, and then we're done for the day. So Bill is a server in a restaurant. He earns how much? $7 an hour, guaranteed, and then whatever he makes in what? So kind of like a salary plus a commission, kind of like. Okay, but at least he's guaranteed $7 an hour. Complete the table. The first row is done for you. Okay, so what does the first row say? Anyway, on Tuesday, he worked 4 hours. So definitely he guaranteed 7 times, so 4 hours times $7 an hour. He guaranteed at least $28. Food sales, whatever he served, amounted to $360. Tips, 20% of food sales. So his tip is about 20%. So total nightly earnings or total whatever is whatever he guaranteed from the restaurant plus whatever he got tips from the customer. Okay, so let's do the rest. So the first one is the Thursday. Thursday he worked 5 hours. So at least he got five. Everyone, I want you to write 5 times $7. 5 times 7. That guarantees him $35, even if he makes no tip. Well, he served $560 worth of food, and the commission is how much, or the tips how much? 20%. So all we have to do now is multiply 20% by 560. 20%. Yeah, we don't have enough space, so I'm just gonna write the number. So 20% of 560. 560. Yep, $112, which means now we add 35 from the restaurant plus 112 from the customers. So 12 plus 35 is 47. So 147 for Thursday night. Okay, how about this one? 5.5 for Friday. So 5.5 hours of work times a guaranteed 7 equals, that would be 38.5. You're right. Sorry, I forgot the dollar sign. For $38, 38.5. He sold even more. Well, it's Friday, 630. So 20% of $630. 126 in tips. So 126. So add 126 to 38.5 with the 50 cents. So you will get 126 and 38 is 60. 2 and 30 is 64.5 or 50 because it's 50 cents. Yep. Awesome. Last Saturday, 8 hours of work. So 8 times $7. That's 56 exactly. Yep. Now 890 times 20% or 20% times 90. How much? Yep, indeed. $178 in tips. You got what? That is correct because that's 220. Yes. 234. Well, okay. You know what I do? By the way, I'm still doing grade school. I'm going, all right. 8 plus 6 is 4. carry the 1 because it's
You're
14.
doing standard algorithm.
One,
I
seven.
did that too.
So what do you call it?
Standard algorithm.
I
Where
never.
you put like the two numbers and then just adding, and that's what it's cool. That's good.
I used to call it vertical addition because you put the numbers on
Oh.
top and just.
My mom says standard algorithm. That's
Sure.
what I've always do that. But you're not wrong. I do it too.
You see, that's the.
Actually,
You see,
helps
that's
a
the.
lot more
That's the
than
difference between me and most of my teachers.
That's
You,
what helps.
but
It's
you call it what?
standard algorithm.
I swear, if I were your age and I'm like, what the heck is that? But when you call vertical addition, I'm like, yeah, because
It's the
that's.
same thing. It's a different name.
I know, but I was a student who, if you told me like big words, I would have been so intimidated, lose focus. But when you say vertical addition, I'm like, yeah, that's how it looks like.
That's not what I was taught. It is what it is. It's all the same.
Again, I am a fan of what? Of knowing that proper names are proper. But when you're teaching, come on, take it easy. Okay, yeah, total earnings. Hey, just add the 4 numbers together. So, total for that week equals, well, by the way, include the 100. Okay, so 100 plus 147 plus 164 point. I had to remind myself because I would have just looked at the red. Yep. $645.50. Don't forget the 50 cents. Okay, come on, last one. So Andrea works in a salon. Yes. Yes, sorry. Yeah, go up. Thank you. Yes. She charges $60 per haircut and pays the salon owner 20% of the earnings. Okay, so she charges $60, but she doesn't keep it all to herself. She loses how much of it? To the owner. She doesn't own the place. So that means how much does Andrea pay the salon owner per haircut? Well, that's 20% or 0.20 times 60. So 0.20 times 60, like the developer or whoever owns the place. That would be how much? 12? Yes, 12. So the salon owner gets $12 from each haircut. From each haircut. The customer pays 60 and leaves. She needs to give $12 to the salon owner, which means she only keeps 48 bucks. Okay, one day she had 8 customers. How much will Andrea have to pay the salon owner? Well, first of all, we have to see how much she actually made. So she made, everyone, she made, not keeps, made. She made, sorry, 8 people times 60. So how much is 8 times 60? 8 times, well, 8 times 6 is 48. So it's just 48 with a 0, 480. Okay, that's how much she made. She gives, well, she gives 20% of that. So 0.20 times the 480. So how much is 20% of $480? Well, that will be, I think that is yep, $96 exactly. So how much does she keep? What do you do with those two numbers? Add or subtract? Yeah, that's how much she made if she paid nothing to the salon owner, but she did pay, which means she gets the difference. So she keeps 480 by 96, which is instead of 384, yes, she keeps 384, right? Yeah, yeah. Because if you add those two, you get back the 480. If you add what she kept to what she gave, you get what she made right at the beginning.